What's up, guys? Welcome to the NiNe Show.
Where would this take them? Where is this current feeling or value set going to take them in the future?
Like
Yeah.
polar opposites. Like you're going that way, I'm going this way.
I mean this very literally. There's no emotion in how I did that. For me, it's just pure efficacy of recall.
I got sometimes like, oh, I have to human. I think that's the NI as opposed to any that just wants to see it in its totality, right?
Common point of what was that word you used, Odom?
What? What the? Yo, what the fuck? Okay, go on. Let's
Dude, I
go.
had a friend.
Let's go.
I will chew you.
All right. All right. Today is my birthday. I am doing well, at least this morning, surprisingly, even though I got very little sleep.
What are we talking
But
about today?
That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about. Thank you for cutting me off.
Again with your masculine SI.
Yes, with we're going to be talking about that. This is the episode where we shit on. Yeah, just kidding. We are going to be talking about masculine SI and feminine SI in both the demon and savior states.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
we're going to start off with masculine SI savior.
Masculine
I think
SI.
Leon wants to start off.
So masculine SI can be pretty abrasive at times. Since physical things are very personal to SI, masculine SI is kind of like a pit bull biting down on its favorite bone. It doesn't want to let it go. It's very, very territorial about it. And I can say this because my dad is masculine SI first, and he has his favorite things that are his and no one else's. Also, those with masculine SI have the very best fact recall possible. Like, since masculine sensory is very spatially aware and they remember things on a timeline, masculine SI is the best at this due to its ability to separate the facts in order of when they happened, because SI separates this event from that event, physical from other physical. So it's very, very clear. That's what I got to say about that.
Interesting.
All right. Odom, you have
Yeah,
a
so
little bit of thing?
yeah, just something I noticed about masculine SIs, they just have like this absolute confidence in the facts, and like even if they're wrong, which can happen, and when they are wrong, it seems like someone just like distorted reality for a second. And I think just masculine OI in general is very clear on also how it wants things done, like step by step. So in the case of SI, it's like they know what they want as like the sensory steps to achieve something. So it's like in cooking, if someone's masculine OI, like they know what the fuck they need to do each step and they want it that way.
Yeah.
And like you don't, if you mess with their process, they're like, get the fuck off me. So speaking from personal experience, and I'm feminine OI, so cooking with those people, it's like I can see their masculine SI. But yeah, that's all I have to add.
Yo,
Nice,
I
dude.
relate a lot to the cooking thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, savior SI. It's very both masculine and feminine. But particularly in masculine, it's a little like I kind of hate myself for feeling this way, because it's like I hate SI because I've had so many negative experiences with it, but it's like I do respect SI
Mhm.
when it comes to just how much like they don't miss, and how keyed in they are. And it's like, man, like I could try and do this whole thing, but then I literally didn't read like the first fucking line of it or whatever, and the whole thing, like my whole idea just like is gone now, and I wasted like so much time because I missed that one thing. In
Dude.
SIs they don't do that.
Yeah, I remember my dad, he's always like, you don't follow instructions. And it's like, because it's all those details that he's like going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the blocking of this is that, step by step. I missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
I'll do it out of order.
with
Jonathan, you wanted to say something?
yeah. So on the lines of savior masculine SI, I'm pretty sure my dad is savior masculine SI, and he's always been really good at like crafting things. So When it comes to like building furniture and stuff, he's just absolutely like to the T of like getting the measurements right. He knows the process of how to build like, a desk or a chair. He doesn't like, it's not something he's researched or something he's like had to study. He just kind of like, put his tools to work and just got it done. Like, so without stressing out or without getting frustrated or knowing what he needs,
Right.
he knew exactly what he needed to like build the thing.
Yeah, my dad was the plumber of the household. He always fixed the crap. Everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
So if we don't have anything left to say about masculine savior SI, then we will move on to masculine demon SI. Jonathan, do you want to start off with talking about your relationship with your masculine SI father and sort of how that hits you in your masculine SI demon?
I'm glad you asked. Thank you. Yeah, so one thing is like with the masculine SI demon can be very like assholey with routine. So when I've created a routine, an example, a sensory example is, okay, I need to go to work at this time. So I know I have to catch the bus at this exact time. I know I need to leave work at this approximate time and I should wake up at this time, right? So I've spent a lot of time and effort creating this routine. So I know that I don't have to think about it every day when I wake up. I just know I follow the clock. But if for some reason someone's like, oh, hey, do you want to like just, so I remember my girlfriend, she just suggested, how about we try taking a different route? Because she also goes to work a different way. She's like, how about we catch a bus together from over here? I'm like, okay, let's try it. And we tried it. And I was stressing out because I didn't know what bus we're taking. I was like, there's no parking place here. So we have to like drive back and we have to walk. Yeah, just all this extra chaos came, this sensory like chaos throughout my routine. And I was so stressed and I was like so pissed off. And she got really upset because I was so angry. And I was like, I don't want to be angry, but I'm just like, this is the demon, like the demon tidal wave swing. It's like, you've just fucked up my masculine side that I've spent so hard to like perfect and get right. And all of a sudden it's like, it's not working. And I have to like start thinking and blah.
Yeah. It's like both your demons. It's the tribe doing this as well. Like you are fine. Like
exactly.
the tribe
I was fine doing my own thing. I had my own way set out.
Yeah.
The other ways that it shows up is like, I think this may just be demon SI in general rather than masculine SI demon, but being like a grammar Nazi, like a little bit like when there's, someone's spelling something wrong or they're not using proper grammar in their sentences, especially online. It's like what they've just said can be interpreted so many different ways because they're not using proper punctuation. Get a bit annoyed with that. But more so, I get annoyed with like objects and things that are not like aligned. Like it's almost like a form of OCD. So especially when I'm stressed or I haven't got much energy or I've had like a long day or something, I'll come home and like, just say for example, I'll see like a mug on a table and it's like sitting right on the edge of the table. I'm just like,
dude,
really?
Yeah, that irks me too. That pisses me off.
It's gonna fall down and break so easily, or like I'm having all these ideas, like these. My brain just like thinking all these possibilities of what could happen because it's sitting like right on the edge. Like, is there any?
Just so you guys know that, like in the audience, though I have masculine demon SE, it's like people can relate on levels like this. Maybe it's a masculine sensory thing and being aware of the space, but yeah, when I see somebody put stuff at the edge of a table or the counter or whatever, I'm like, how do you not think that's gonna fall and break?
Do you control them though? Like, the first thing that comes out of my mouth would say, the first thing that would come out of my mouth is, "Can you please move that mug because it's gonna fall." I'll say it like that, like a real asshole as well.
Dude,
don't do that.
I am worse. I'm like, what are you doing? And I like move it for them. I'm like, don't put it on the. I just blow up.
So like I have the exact same like awareness, but like I don't have the intense response. Like I'm super aware of stuff like, oh, like that might fall, but like I'm just like, that's like, I don't know if it's because it's double activated, but I'm just like, that like it doesn't like freak me out. I'm just gonna respond to it. I'll be like,
What about
that
like
might-
just things in the house, like things placed around that are not in a logical place where they should belong or where they should live? Like, even if the bin is like slightly on the edge or something, I'm just like, why?
I don't. Yeah, I'm just going with it. If it's like not, if it's disorganized but not like obtrusive, I'll just leave it.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
basically my rule. But you're like, just in all manner, it has to be kind of organized.
Yeah.
Unless
Like when I'm chill, when I'm like my energy levels are good and I'm not stressed out, like it doesn't matter to me too much. But like, yeah, when I am stressed and like I'm like a bit irked, it's like the house has to be in perfect order. Otherwise, I'm just like.
Mm-hmm. Do you think being an single observer type would make that worse than the single decider types with demon masculine SI?
Yeah, I think so. I think just the polarity of this, like the sensory and the intuition, like because they're so imbalanced, like
the swing is harder.
The swing,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
For sure. Makes sense.
I got a masculine SI demon example.
Are you gonna make fun of me?
Yeah, I'm gonna make fun of you.
Make fun of me.
Look at that, and you go, dude. Do you already know? Do you already know what's coming up?
I didn't read your notes, so no.
Because he didn't.
I don't have any notes, dude. That's what I'm gonna get shit on him with me. But I segued us into the masculine SI demon topic from the Savior by sort of leading you on to talk about your experiences with your dad, and then you just went and you just talked about the three things that you have. I want you guys to see he has the the stressed when something slight on whatever, and then when you want to. Oh wait, no, that's my question. So he said literally he ignored what I said. He just went with, okay, this is the SI, like, okay,
dude.
Whereas me, we decided that I was going to be like the host for this episode, like 30 seconds before we started. And I'm like, well, shit, like, so.
No, I'm gonna call you out.
I totally just like ignored what you asked me. I just went, no, these are the things that I want to say.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna call you out on your feminine sensory. You've been labeled as the host for at least a week now. Like it's in the documents. Like, so you were already the host. Like it's at the top. Like,
no.
Host.
It's right there, bro.
Like
Jonathan just put it. No, John, dude, I can pull up.
I literally put it. No, I put it there before the episode.
Yeah, he put it up there right now. No, okay,
control this chaos.
Okay.
Back on topic.
Yeah.
Okay, masculine SI, back on topic. Okay, so moving from the masculine SI demon, do you want to talk? You guys want to talk? I'll give it to you. I'll let you guys be the masculine SI for me. Do you guys want to talk about feminine SI savior or feminine SI demon first? Do you want to save beating me up for last?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it towards the end.
Towards the end. All right, let's go with feminine SI savior then.
Dude.
Odom, you start.
All right, cool. So yeah, feminine SI is like just a flexible form of it. From what I've gathered, a lot of the people that are typed that, they seem to be able to create the best kind of plans. It's because they're accounting for the variation of, abstract chaos that could happen in their plan. So it kind of makes their plans foolproof. And it's also not as tied to like their subjective masculine SI. So it's like they have more attention towards like reality and what's happening. So yeah, they kind of, it's almost more it has better utility kind of.
Yeah, I believe my sister has savior feminine SI first. And it's really hard to like describe because I lived with her for a long time, and she had plans, but they were kind of like, oh, they can go here, they can go there, but this is my plan. And she would always like push everything aside, but she was I want to like kind of talk about the masculine NiNe demon right now. So she was always like, oh, this is probably going to happen. And she'd be really pushy with it. And I'm like, as a savior intuitive, I'm in feminine and I like opposite. I'm like, how do you see that? No, like I don't see that at all. Like I can kind of see why you would think that, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Likely, yeah.
But she was still very structured and very ordered. But I don't know. It's just hard to describe. I still don't understand feminine SI savior yet.
Yeah. All I know is I'm quite attracted to it.
Okay,
Makes
okay. This is a
Hey,
PG
Asees.
channel. I'm gonna
You're
have to
over
be,
18 now, so it's okay.
All right, guys. So that
Burn.
was this episode of.
No.
Nah, we need to roast you, bro.
Okay. Odom, you said one thing though. With how feminine SI has the best plan in your perspective, and sort of generalizing that. Who would have thought I generalized? I think that feminine functions in general are more like a high skill cap, low skill floor type of function compared to the masculine function. So it's like it's easier to sort of like be good with masculine functions, but
Yeah.
like when you're really good with the feminine functions, which is so much harder to do because
Yeah,
it's like
true.
it's hard to get a hold of, like figuratively. It's harder to master, but once you do master, it's like, okay, well, you started from a place of flexibility, and now you know when it's not to be flexible. So when you do have to be flexible, which takes more skill because you have to account for more things, you can be like, that's where you came from.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's actually a good point.
Like with your guys' feminine NI, and even with Jonathan, your feminine NE, I see it. I'm like, damn, I wish I didn't get so caught up in my head sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
almost like an NI, right?
Kind of, yeah. Feminine NI and feminine NE do get they do get compared sometimes for being flexible. We will talk about that in a different episode. In this episode,
probably
we'll
already
be talking next about I can't remember. Speaking of me not being able to remember things,
feminine demon SI.
Yes.
Oh god, let's get it. Okay.
All right.
Get it.
Oh god, there's a picture and
first, I
everything.
guess.
Shit.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
screwed, guys.
Cool. Should I go first?
Yeah.
Yes, please tear me a new one.
This isn't even that bad, to be honest. Like I'm gonna go easy on you, don't worry. So to me, feminine SI is like, it seems like minimal organization, just to satisfy that it's not getting in their way. So like that's what it seems like to me. So it's like if they are even doing their demons, if they are doing it, it seems to be in a satisficing approach.
Yeah.
So satisficing is a term in behavioral economics, which basically means it's like a decision-making strategy where you're aiming for just good enough. So that's
yes,
like that's it. That's like the
Yeah.
We were literally hammering on that yesterday. I think Odom, when you were asleep in the group chats, Asees is like, why would I work 18 hours a day and 7 days a week for 6 years when I can just get by or whatever with what I know and my skill level now? And I'm like, will you though? I don't know. I don't see
Hold it. That's wrong though. Let me come in with my masculine TI. Just kidding. That actually doesn't matter.
And then forget about it.
And then I will forget about it. So I have to say it as it comes into my head. See, that's actually one of the things with feminine SI. But anyways, I will talk about it later. But we were talking about I think Leon came from like watching. We have a group chat between us four about personal finance, and so we Leon asked the question of whether we wanted to whether we were all or who was willing to work 18 hours a day for 8 years, and and then he asked me. I think he tagged me, and then he asked me, and then I said no, fuck that. And I was coming from the premise of automation, which is like with my bot. So do not mischaracterize me, good sir. Also, going off of that, when I push with the SI, does it feel like I push with the SI or I push with the TI? That like
I think it's more with the T.
Yeah, it's more with the T, man. It's more with the T. It's like you're trying to Yeah.
Because
It's like that's
sensitive.
wrong.
yeah, you're like that's wrong,
That's
but
incorrect.
the details were still not fully correct anyway. It's almost as if you have feminine SE, like because it's feminine and it's like give or
I
take
can pull the
this or
chat
that.
log. We can pull the chat. It doesn't matter. So, Odom,
Oh,
did you get
yeah,
through
also,
everything you wanted to say?
yeah, I don't know if it's possible for me to show the picture I have. Is it even possible? I didn't figure
Anything's
this out.
possible, bro.
You know what? Yeah.
Screen share.
That's so the satisficer there is the feminine SI. Accept good enough, don't obsess over options, can move on after deciding, happier with outcomes, and the masculine SI is the maximizer. So seeks the best thing to do, compares decisions with others, expends more time and energy, and unhappier with outcomes. Like they're trying to perfect it. They want it to be exactly what like it needs to be. So yeah, that's what I got for feminine SI demon.
Mm.
And like
All right.
it's evident also in how we prepare for these episodes. Like all of us prepare like properly, but Asees kind of like he doesn't actually write anything down, so it's all in his head. And I guess it's like the masculine energy, you have it in your head anyway, so why even write it down?
Exactly.
But like yeah, that's how. And I mean it works. So
Yeah,
but
well,
yeah.
you remember so Jono was saying, well, I need a clear physical reality so my mental can be clearer or something like that. And then
Yeah.
maybe due to the feminine SI and Asees is like, oh, screw that. The reality can be however it wants to be, but like my mental is my mental. My patterns are the patterns, and you know it doesn't matter how my environment looks.
Yeah.
And he's back.
Also, wanted to share a quick story in honor of Asees' feminine SI demon and his birthday. When we were hanging out, you guys could check this out on Instagram too, by the way. We were doing a little Ninja Warrior course, and this guy was supposed to run off the ramp that was inclining and jump off of it to grab some ropes that were hanging so that he could crawl to the other side. And this guy over here started running, and he tripped over his own foot because he didn't know that the incline was as steep as it was, and he didn't know how far the net was, and he just totally ate it like twice. And I was worried about you, man, but like it was hilarious.
Smack the ground.
Check it
No,
out
I
on
was good,
Instagram
dude. See,
at
that's
NiNe
the
Show.
thing about feminine SI. Like you get used to getting beat up, so that's why you're so movable. You're gonna beat it.
Oh,
Move
man.
with the sensory environment. It actually like you get damaged less because you're like more flexible.
Nah,
like
dude,
fluid.
this
No, I
guy.
get down
Yeah.
random things more because I'm like
Yo.
I'm just like where'd that fucking come from? Okay.
That's so interesting. I hate feeling pain. Like I'm super sensitive to like pain. If something like hurts me, I'm like, well, like what is that? Like why is that there? And like I'll deal with it. If it's something I can't help, I'm like, whatever. But like, yeah, I'm super sensitive to like physical ailments and like pain. So that's a cool distinction.
I feel like all demon sensors are, and if you guys are, also mention it in the comments, please. But it seems to be that the pattern is demon sensors are more either get sick more easily. They are more sensitive to physical things in the environment, whether it be colors, weather, getting like falling or whatever, getting poked. Everything's more sensitive. So that's what the pattern seems to be. Man, but Asees' feminine SI, it's funny though. I just feel like he's not aware of the physical, like even more. But it's hard to describe.
So I have some questions for Asees, and I'm gonna trust so we can focus on feminine sensory. You know how I was talking about like my house and like just things being everywhere and just getting irked by things like that or things out of order. Like, do you relate to that by any chance? In a way, or how is it different?
Most of the mess, so most of the mess in my house comes from my mom. Lead play, FE, pretty sure any. And it's like I don't have a problem with it. But when I do have a problem with clutter is when it stops me from doing what I want to do, right? And so then that's my, I think that's like part of my demon swing is like where that comes from, where there's all this shit that maybe I neglected. I try not to though, because step one to not neglecting something is to just don't have anything to neglect, and boom, right? And so
Yeah, man.
but when there's like too much things, like I'm really bad with organizing my clothes. I will leave them out, like, and I like having them out there where I can see them, because having to like sort of dig in my closet for things is very I hate that. I like just having it right there. It's easy. I can just pick it up and then I can also see it. I don't have to like be like, oh, it's dark, let me see whatever, right? It's just right there. And then, but that's where some of my things come from, is where like, because I'm not properly putting up my clothes, they don't look that good at all. And then so my lead FE mom is like, that doesn't look good, and she's like, punching me with that, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. But I don't relate to physical clutter as well. I think it's because I'm sleep. When I do organize, it's completely for the sake of personal efficacy. And I've noticed that because I'm blessed last, the way that I organize is completely idiosyncratic. Like, I don't think about anybody else when I organize, really. It's like, so like if I'm organizing something for other people, I just have to fucking hope that they are like on board with it. And that's why I constantly check. I'm like, hey, is this good? Okay, boom. Okay, is this good? Boom. And it's like,
Oh man.
It's completely individual. It's like, but yeah, getting just to summarize, I don't relate to that as much. I think I thrive in that a bit more than you do.
Yeah,
some of a similarity. Yeah, I have more I have a greater range of tolerance in that regard, at least.
Interesting. So that gives me an idea for another episode, another video.
Oh, stay tuned.
Yeah, like demon
right.
masculine functions as demons, just in general, versus like feminine functions as saviors.
You know,
I mean, yeah,
which is
the
more
contrast.
powerful.
Yeah.
Like, it's really weird. I've related to like quite a bit of what Asees has said, and I don't know if it's just like because we have the same like our OI is both feminine, and we have like both double activated consume. So like and missing blast, and there's some things you've said I really relate to. Like, people come into my room and they say like, wow, your room is always like looking really good, and I just say to them like, it's because I don't have that much stuff. Like, I only have stuff in my room that has utility. I don't have anything for the sake of being there, because it's like it gets in the way. It's like I want things to be there to help me do what I want to do. That's it. So it's like,
do you have any NF stuff in your room? This is off topic, but
there's a post, it's okay, the Great Wave of something. It's like a famous Japanese painting, but other than that,
nice.
It's pretty clear. Like, yeah, but yeah, just a lot of what you said I related to.
Okay.
Yeah, even clothes. Like, I don't get new clothes unless the old one I'm throwing away. So it's like there's a flaw.
I like that.
Unless I'm replacing something, I don't need it. So why bother getting something? So yeah. So I don't know if that's because it's like TI. The TI is like trying to make it really efficient. Like the feminine OI is only moving for the sake of making everything like logical. I don't know.
I really do have to leverage that TI to get things moving. So that's probably where probably the TI comes out almost like it's almost only TI. Like, the SI is just kind of like, it just exists and that's it. And so that's where we relate. I do relate with you on a lot of things though. Like, I've said this like throughout the many episodes where it's like, and I where like I'll hammer on you the most, and then I'll also like argue with you the most. Like, but it's like, it's all like, because like we're playing the same game when it comes to insiders. And I'm like, wait, because we have different observers. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Leon, do you have anything to berate me with?
Now we all covered it, I think.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
berate you after the show.
we can see who was right after the show. So to
Meet me at
summarize,
my
guys,
place.
we talked about masculine and feminine, demon and savior SI. I am going to peacock my masculine SI by cutting off Leon. If I just keep talking, he doesn't get a chance to speak. And so we talked about the pros and cons, you know, how we relate to things, how we sort of see these things manifesting ourselves. We beat up Asees. I beat up Asees. My mom beat up Asees. You guys are going to beat up
In the comments.
in the comments. You guys can DM us at the NiNe Show on
Happy
Instagram
birthday.
and Facebook. Yes, thank you. Wish me happy birthday and then make fun of me for having fun. How long can I keep this joke going? And we will see you guys in Land of Chaos. Bye-bye.
Boom.
That was tough.
Oh man, that was good.